Welcome back, Ceramics 2. The last part of our lidded jars lesson is making the hole for the spoon that goes in your sugar jar. Now, if you just want to have a regular jar that is storing something like, let's say, coffee or flour, and you don't want to have a spoon in it, you don't have to do this, but this is just a nice added touch, that if this is a sugar jar, usually you leave the spoon in there. Okay, so you'll need to cut a little bit out for that. So what I've got here is I've got these foot trimmers that look like this. Is a loop, but it's a rounded loop. And all you need to do is take your lid here and cut in and pull away and remove that little bit. What you can do is wait till it's leather hard and it works a little better. Mine's still kind of wet. But then you can kind of reshape those little corners if they get dinged up a bit. And as soon as it's leather hard, you can kind of go around those edges and clean them up. Okay, you could, if you want to just, you don't mind if it's like even or perfectly round, you can cut it out with a pin tool too, like that, and then just pull that little bit away. And smooth it and trim it out when it gets to be leather hard. Okay, same thing on your other lids. If, like, let's say you want to just use interchangeable ones, you want one to be a storage one and one to be for the sugar, you can do the same thing. You can take your dome lid and you can, this one is more leather hard, right, because I actually had to let it sit. So I can take this and just slowly cut through. Since it's still leather hard, I can use this tool to kind of rock around where it's going to be. I could cut it out, or I can just use this needle tool and cut around. If you, as a studio potter, if you're starting, I mean, you're deciding, I'm going to make lidded jars like this all the time, then it might be worthwhile to make yourself a tool that does this. I've seen many potters, they just have a special loop tool that they use for cutting, rather than cutting each one out by hand. But it's a nice thing to do so that you've got something that works just for what you want it to work for. Once you get done cutting this, since it's leather hard, do make sure that you go back and clean up those edges so there's no big jagged chunks on there. Maybe even smooth it out with your fingers and a little bit of water so that it's nicely crafted, because of course as I'm grading these and I'm looking at your lid components, I'm going to be grading on craftsmanship and that it's been nicely well crafted and there's no little chunks and nubbins or unevenness to speak of. So make sure that you've evened everything out really nicely. Same thing. So here's my dome jar one, my dome lid, and then same thing here for my inset lid. You can see it's a little bit easier if you've got it a little bit more wet. You can just cut that little nubbin out and then go back and smooth it and reshape that a little bit so it fits again. All right, so there's the little cutout for the inset lid and the dome lid and the flat lid. Okay, and that should conclude our lidded jar assignment. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in class.